what's your top games of July 2023? Let us know in the comments, and we are sharing ours. And hello, I'm Stella, and this is Tarrant from Meeple University. Welcome back to our top games of the month, which is July 2023.
Yes, we are 7/12 of the way through the year.
That's very specific, but it's correct.
Very correct.
And as usual, these games are coming from multiple ways. So it could be review copies, could be games that we have commissioned to do, but either case, this is our own opinions.
Yep, there could also be old games that are new to us. They could be prototypes that we've been working on. It's the games that piqued our interest during July.
And now we are sharing you because we're excited about these games, of course.
Yes, we'll go straight into it. So your
not?
number 5 game, which is not in a rectangular box at all,
is Lacuna Matata. It's not Matata. Lacuna, just Lacuna. Yes. It's a wonderful game. Lacuna in a cylinder case. This is like really bad singing for me this end. So this is Lacuna. This is by CMYK, and this is an abstract game where you actually you measure a certain distance to get the flowers on the pond, and it's a bit like, it's not area control, but majority tokens will win the game.
Yeah, it's a tactical placement sort of game. So there's seven tokens each of 7 different colours, and they're scattered around randomly. And when you take your turn, you place a pawn between 2 matching flowers and take them both. Mm-hmm. And half of the flowers will come off the board that way. And then the remaining flowers go to whichever pawn they're closest to. So each time you're placing, you're considering both what you want then and what you want at the end of the game.
What I love about it is that this is a very unique game. I haven't actually seen or played games like this before, and it actually comes with some sort of ruler.
Yep, there's a little measuring
tape. So
measuring thing in
it
there.
Needs to be precise, that your pawn needs to be near the end of the game. Your pawn needs to be the closest to certain flowers to actually come to you, and then you gain those flowers.
Yep, it gives you all the feeling of curling or lawn bowls at the end of the game.
And that's Lacuna.
So this is my number 5 for the month, Barcelona. So this is new Euro game that's come out. Was it a Gen Con release?
So.
A little bit in advance, I think.
For Board and Dice, yeah.
For Board and Dice. So interesting sort of game. It's got all the sorts of hallmarks you would typically have with a few different tracks to go on, a few different things to work up. But there's a very interesting building placement mechanism. You're always choosing an action from by placing 2. It's kind of a worker, but it's a stack of citizens onto an intersection, which tells you what actions you'll do. And then as they build up, the way they disappear is you have to construct buildings by putting those citizens into it. And so it has this interesting, it's quite different, and it has this interesting way of, particularly towards the end of the game, needing to find the actions that do the best for your for your tracks,
yes,
while also making sure you construct a building, because they become worth a lot of points towards the end of the game. And if you place in an area that doesn't give you the combination that gives you a building, then you'll lose out on that. So very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. And it's a beautiful game as well. I wish to go to Barcelona. The rulebook has a bit of like history, like in little boxes for flavor text of how this mechanic actually converts to how it is in the actual city.
Yes, a lot of civic planning involved. Mm-hmm.
And let's move on to my number 4, which is Barcelona. So this is a very interesting, as Tarrant said. And what I love about it, even so, is that unique worker placement thing. So you draw 3 citizens from the back and you place 2. You draw 2 and then you place 2. And then you action. So you want to try to build buildings. See, by placing that, then you get to build building. And the building will score you points. And then there are so many things that you can do. So when you play the second time, the third time, you probably go towards different strategies. Because, like I say, not all the tracks are used in the game because there are so many options.
Yeah, that is one downside. I always find that if you've got more actions than people can do, if there are certain mechanisms that are just getting ignored, maybe there's a little too much to do.
Oh, but it gives like a lot of replayability and possibilities. Components are great as well. I love the citizen style is actually thicker than other tiles, so deliberately because it's going to be used a lot. It's going to be drawn from the backs and so on. And just beautiful artwork, and then the history, and then the fact that it's a square. I don't know. It just fascinated me because it's a square city, and you turn it to board game and still thematic. I think it's awesome. And feel free to comment at any time. Some people have actually commented more than once, so they add certain part of the video and like, oh yeah, I love that game, or I have this game that is similar to that and that recommend to us. Go for it, because every single like, comments and subscribe really help us, so really appreciate that. And if we have any other videos for these games, we'll link it below as well for you to check. And without further ado, Tarrant's next game.
Yes, so my number 4, delving perhaps into a game that's been in the news a bit, is Farms Race.
It's a bit of a
also there was
dangerous
this
Tarrant.
one. Yes, this one has been on Kickstarter recently, and it had a dispute and had to be taken down and put back up. But the game itself is actually quite solid. So it's very Catan inspired, but it's a light 4X
Parody.
Yeah, they consider it a parody of Catan, and you are spreading around. You're claiming hexes and you're constructing buildings and gaining resources in quite a similar way to Catan with a roll of dice. But a lot of the points come from, as I say, it's a 4X. You're spreading out, you're attacking each other, and you score a lot of points by kicking someone else off their territory. For something at this difficulty level, it's actually really well put together. It's got some clever things involved. It's got the equivalent of the development cards, which give you, different ways that you could either gain the points the way you do with the development cards in Catan, or it might give you some ways to benefit in combat. And there is a mechanism where you can build nuclear bombs.
And nuke other players.
Nuke other players. And even that has a really sensible element in the game, because it will do... All of your units have 2 health, and the nuke will do 1 damage to every unit in a space. So if you're concentrated and really trying to defend one space with a lot of units, a nuke can really do a lot of damage to that. Whereas if you're spreading out, it's easier to attack in. So yeah, it is very well put together. It's definitely not going to be for everyone.
It is by the co-creators of Cards Against Humanity. So the 2 designers are the co-creators. My number 3 is actually a prototype. The Incal Infinite is based on comic book Incal, Incal. And this is a French publisher, and this is going to Kickstarter when we record it today. And this is a cooperative game, and it features the characters in the comic book. So John the Fool and the Pat Bird, for example. Thank you. And the Suicide Alley, for example, and so on. So this is a very tight cooperative game. You work together to, basically it's hand management, and you need to play cards in a certain way to different locations. And once you complete the objective of which location, you get to look the number token hidden. And to win the game, you must reveal the number tokens from low to high. It's very tricky. It's very hard to beat, and one person must reveal that. So if one person complete the location, that person knows. That person, the other people don't know what number that is.
Yeah, it is. It really stands out as being an incredibly tight game. It's like a short game. It takes you, it's a 15-minute sort of game. But almost every action needs to be really thoroughly optimized. And
sometimes you just have to take a stab on trying to win, which has happened before.
It really stands out. There's nothing quite else like it, I don't think.
Yeah.
not exactly like it, that's for sure. I know when we've played, trying to get the deck reshuffled at the right time and trying to work out exactly when to get rid of damage cards because they choke up your hand and they can cause a lose condition. Working out how quickly to move around. It is very, very tight.
Very tight. That's what I love about it. And it's unique, it's tightness, and the work together. There's no alpha players possible because you have cards in hand. You can't really be controlled by one single player. They can't control everything. And the fact that the tokens are hidden and only the player that finished the location can see it. And then you have to work among yourself. There are some power cheats, power tiles that you can use to obviously communicate, but that's also limited. So it's very tight.
Yeah, and it took us a couple of plays to get anywhere. The first, it's one of those, we say how tight it is. The first time we played, it was just like, all right, we'll do this and do this, and we'd got like 40% of the way through and we lost.
So easy to lose. And that's the beginning.
What just happened? How on earth can we win this? But then when you think more carefully about it, it's like, all right, well, I really need to optimize these and I really need to think where is the best time to use all the things and plan a long way ahead.
That's part of the fun as well, where you're finding out how to win. And there are different difficulties. We did play with the easiest enemy.
Yes.
And you're going to have to start with the easiest enemy, unless you're really lucky, maybe.
And there are different enemies as well, so it's got some good replayability in there.
Indeed.
Number 3 for me for the month is Perch. This is another prototype. We've got a very prototype-heavy month, I think. This is... When is this one on?
Right now.
Right now?
On Kickstarter.
Very good. So, being crowdfunded right now, this is a game, I know it has been compared somewhat to Petrichor. Has some similarities to it. It is an area control game. Area majority type of game where you've got a series of different bird tiles and everyone's taking in turns to place markers down. And then at the end of the round, you'll score or get bonuses based on who's first, second, or third on different tiles. Much like Petrichor, it's not always whoever has the most is the player who'll get the most points. Some tiles you want to be first, some tiles you want to be later. And if there's a tie, then your points get cancelled. So each placement becomes quite critical. Petrichor manages that by having different ways that rain can come down out of clouds and it can be moved around, so everyone's got control over each other's pieces to some extent. In this game, it simplifies that. Essentially, you, at the start of the round, you get 2 of your own birds and you draw 2 random birds from the bag. And that tells you whether you're going to be placing all your own or placing some of your opponents. And to me, it's perfect. I don't know if we've done a review video for Petrichor. I always found it too confusing, too many things to keep track on with clouds and thunderstorms and things like that to make all of that happen. This just simplifies it. It is a simpler, better entry point, and then overall more fun version of that area majority thing that Petrichor has. So very well put together game.
And I totally agree because this is my number 2 of the month patch. So what I love about it most, obviously what Tarrant said, what I love about it the most is the fact that in the area control, where not necessarily the most birds gets the most points, and you're also able to put your opponent's pieces. They're like, what? Really? That's the only way that works, right? Yeah. You can mess up with opponents, and if the other opponents, let's say 2 other opponents are draw, they don't get points, and then you get points if you have first, second, or third, whatever it is. So that also creates this really tense battle, and that every single movement, every single placement is intense. That's what I love about it. Yeah. And it's beautiful as well. This is prototype, but you get to stack the birds up and it just creates great table presence, a lot of variety of creatures that you can control and different powers on each tiles and so on. Yes. That is Perch. Really do check it out and really impressed me.
Number 2 for me for the month is After Us. And this is...
Deck building?
It's deck building. It is basically deck
Pattern
building.
matching? Oh, not quite. How do you describe it?
It is mostly deck building. But the cards that you get have a series of icons on 3 rows, and some of them hang off the edge of the cards. It's like you've got a cost on the right-hand side of a card and a reward on the left-hand side, or maybe it's just they're both rewards, and you have to, when you draw your 4 cards each round, you have to arrange them in such a way that you maximize all of the benefits that you get on the cards, because if you don't close a box properly, then you don't get any of the benefits in it. It's probably out of character for me, this one, because it's
multiplayer solitaire.
It is almost completely multiplayer solitaire. There's a very slight moment where you can do something based on what another player's token is, but even then you're not attacking them. You're just reacting to what they've done. But it's a race. It's an Ecos-style race. And when it comes to multiplayer solitaire like that, I do like it when it's a race. It's kind of like if you're just building up points over rounds, I don't feel the urgency. In a game like this or Ecos, I feel that urgency, and I was like, all right, well, this guy's starting to pull ahead.
Starting to grow on Tarrant here.
I've got to really optimize. So, no, it's a simple. It's a nice simple game. The puzzle is fun.
Yeah.
And it moves briskly. And I remember after first playing it, it was... I remember thinking it was a game that would work perfectly on Board Game Arena, because you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like you do half the round, and then there's one time everyone has to do something at the same time, and then you do the other half of the round. And so...
And guess what?
It kind of works perfectly for Board Game Arena, and it's there already.
Yeah, guess what? That was before it was on Board Game Arena,
yeah.
I think. Pretty sure. And then, like, a couple of weeks later, it's on Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It is perfect like that. And that's just why this is my number 1. This is my number 1, everyone. I'm currently playing a couple of games on Board Game Arena. I love it. I could go to Board Game Arena and back, and then not having to think... like the whole, sometimes Board Game Arena, the turn-based one, where you can like come back and, over a few days and so on, you kind of have to think, oh, what was your strategy? You can't really forget about it. But this one works so well, and you can just come back to it and then, okay, like pick up what you left off, and then you can just play. And it automates all the banners, all the things that are connected. It's so well. Yes. And you're right about that. I love the fact that you have to match up the box or the banners or whatever it is you call it in your card by putting the cards in the right order. So there are 4 cards in there. And, there's just different actions as well you can do. You can try to, trash the cards. One of the cards a type of cards that let you do that. You can just trash the cards. Getting points obviously important, because that triggers the game, the end of the game, whoever got the most point and so on. And it's, I don't know, it's just like so elegant. The rules is really simple. The icons are easy. It's just so great.
And I think one thing that's very clever from a deck building standpoint, this is a rare one where you're not looking at the cards you're getting. You're just getting one off a deck that has a kind of flavor to it. So there's one that gives you more points. That's one that's more about trashing. There's one that's more about getting energy that can trigger bonus actions. But because of the way you have to arrange all of the cards into a sequence, you couldn't create that...
you can't have it face up. It'll be too much.
It'd be too much AP. Yeah. It'd be far too hard to optimize. So just having it as a face-down deck for a game of this style, light to medium, deck builder, race, having the luck of that draw kind of works perfectly with it. So it's a very, very neat package.
Highly recommend it. Love it. I would play it again and again and again. Please check it out. We have videos. I haven't mentioned the other videos, but please do look at Tarrant's how to play videos and then play on BGA. You can do it straight away. I'm pretty sure it's not the premium game as well. Lacuna Matata. This game is back. Because it's Tarrant's number 1. In the month of July.
Yes.
You're not going to sing with me. Just say yes.
So yeah, this is my This is my top game for July, Lacuna. It's another Mark Gerrit's.
Of course.
Mini Rails and Mini Express, both
I didn't mention that before, yep.
both very high on our
List.
on our list of games. He's got a knack, and this is a simple 10-minute game, but I am a sucker for a good two-player abstract. Sorry, not asymmetric.
I know you
for
do.
a good two-player abstract, and this does something that really I haven't seen before. As I described it before, each placement is trying to take two matching flowers and then get yourself as close as possible to other flowers that you'll gather at the end of the game. When you're thinking that through, you've got two dimensions, but all angles in 2 dimensions to think about. To try to say, all right, where can I go that maybe blocks off an option for my opponent to take the flowers they want? Because if you've got a cross, you can put something in the middle, and not only do you get 2 flowers, but it blocks off the ability to get 2 others, because now there's something in the way. There's just all these things to think about, and I've not seen anything else like it out there. And it just has these nice, interesting decisions. So yeah, two-player abstract. If you can find a good one out there that plays quickly and has some depth, I'm always keen for that.
It's the shape of the box, isn't it?
Not the depth of chess, right?
Okay.
So I'm looking for ones that are of the simple style.
It's really simple. Like, it's the box, isn't it? It's the shape that you like. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's hard. That's hard to shelve.
Oh, yeah, actually. How do you shelf this? That's another question. How would you shelf this? Probably like in between slot, you just like, I mean, it's still easier than Gloomhaven, for example. Or you probably like put on top of it, or you can probably just display it as part of furniture. So I mean, it's a gorgeous box.
Yep. Nice components. It's got wooden tokens, metal pawns, and a cloth mat as well. It's just a really clever game. Well worth it. Good, simple little thing that's playable anywhere.
And that's all the list of games we have. And please let me know your list. And see you next time. Bye.